Hello, this is Guy Severson of Viral Team coming to you with another episode of Viral Team Unplugged. Today we have with us McKenzy Germain of Herba Inc. Welcome to the call, McKenzy.
Thank you, Guy. How's it going?
It's going very well, very well. Thank you for asking. So, Herba Inc. What is that?
It's interesting that you would ask. If I can show you my LinkedIn messages right now, I have a ton of people that from my past, future, probably future and present, that are asking me whether if I'm selling weed on a social platform, and that is absolutely not what we're doing. So actually, what Herba Inc. is we're a machine learning platform for personalized medicine. Right?
Wait. You're a what platform?
We're a machine learning platform for personalized medicine. And so ideally what we're doing is... Machine learning meaning
AI, artificial intelligence.
Correct. So we're using artificial intelligence not to just predict patterns and behaviors within a subset or a group of people in the U.S., we're actually, what our goal is to actually take on the entire global market to figure out, A, how to solve some of the opioid issues that are currently going on right now in regards to being able to transition people off of these addictions. Because at the end of the day, they're coming off of these addictions. They're not even coming off of these addictions. A lot of people are coming off of the ability to qualify for health insurance, and they're addicted to these drugs and/or legal medicines that are pretty much assigned to them. And they go out into the world and can't even afford to buy that. So now you have someone with an addiction from something that was stated as legal, and they don't have a solution that can veer them away from that addiction. So it then creates more health issues in the future.
As a naturopathic vegan in my own right, I certainly support the words that you just used called evil medicine.
that's the best way to put it.
I really think that there is. Yeah, that caught my attention. So I can already see a little bit of the answer, if not a lot of it, but why?
Why? Honestly, every single person on our team has an emotional bond to a family member that has gone through this very same issue, right? And so it's weird how we all came along because we have this eclectic group. Our CEO is like this Midwestern girl. She's like I would say she's blonde hair, right? Blonde hair, tall, very smart, MIT grad. Our CTO is, I can't mention his name at the moment because he's still under contract, but our CTO is one of the biggest disruptors in the ML pharma stratosphere. Some of our sales guys who are also co-founders as well are beasts in their arena. So it's like we have a team, let's see, that two of us are black, one of us is Mexican, the other one is Indian, and then we have TK, which is our token white girl. So
there you go.
Essentially how it came about was we all started sharing stories about things that were happening in our families. Both our CEO, TK, and I, we hold our mothers very dear, who are currently going through some health issues, and we found that veering them away from the current medicine that's being applied to them, especially because this fibromyalgia thing is being thrown around like it's the new thing to start allowing doctors to pretty much prescribe any type of drug. We started using CBD to veer our parents off of that, and what we found was that their productivity went up, their health went up, their energy went up. They felt a whole lot better. They weren't experiencing any more of the chronic pains that they had been going to doctors. My mother, for one, back in September, I was in Georgia, and for the first time, like I had actually experienced my mom being hospitalized after years of my sister talking about it. I'm in the ER, and I'm having a conversation with the doctor who doesn't realize that I understand a lot of the technical terms and the processes. So I start asking him hard questions. Doctor looks over at me and he goes, "You know what? Your mom is not sick. We don't know what we can do." And I said, "Well, why not give her a shot to at least try to help subside the pain. Well, we can't do that because she would have to have this, that, and the third included in her insurance. So, long story short, I'm just going to say it as it is. We get bullshitted day to day about some of the problems that we're experiencing when it really boils down to our food and how we take care of ourselves.
Wow.
And so
I'm going to repeat what you. Hang on a second. I'm going to repeat what you just said because what you just said is so critical.
Yeah.
It boils down to our food and how we take care of ourselves.
Correct.
That is. And I think another thing that you brought up just a moment ago is this is not a cookie-cutter problem that belongs to a certain segment of the population. Mm-hmm. This is a cross-cultural, socio-economic problem that Herba Inc. is addressing,
correct,
which reaches the lives of everybody. Am I on target with that?
You're, I would say you've hit the target on the nose.
Okay, there we go.
and so at a high level, I would say at a high level those are one of the things that we're trying to solve. But we're also not trying to be bad guys, and so we're going to use ML to not just create a marketplace where changes can occur.
I'm going to stop you for just a minute. I heard that earlier. You said ML. What
Machine
is
learning.
ML?
Machine learning. Sorry about that.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I'm jumping into jargon. And so essentially our goal is not just to solve the consumer issue, but also the issue of the producer, the buyer, and even dabble into government and health, pharma, as we all come to know it, because it doesn't make sense to go on the attack without and becoming part of the bigger issue without helping solve it overall. Right? And so you have a lot of startups that, they come in with this idea of how they're going to save the world and then they're going to tear pharma down, yada, 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 yada. Our goal really isn't to attack pharma, right? Our goal is to help people. And so if we can help several 100 million people veer off of addictive legal drugs, then we've set our goal. And
sure.
We've matched it, right? And at the same time, I think it's a little less. I want to rephrase that. It's less of a goal. It's more of a mind frame, a mindset, or lifestyle, right? I definitely want to see my mother live longer and my family members. You want to see your family members live longer. So why not educate them with the information that we're being handed down that helps us live longer?
Excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna send you a curveball here for just a minute, maybe. These calls that I'm doing are for helping people that are building businesses to be able to take their business to the next level. We talked on the family scope and everything like that, but I'm going to send you a little bit of a curveball, and I'll help you with the process if necessary, but because I already think I see the answer, I just want to have that brought forward.
No worries.
How does Herba Inc. help business professionals take their business to the next level?
And you're referring to the growers and sellers?
I'm referring to your company. What does it do? How does it impact the business world?
Let's zero it down. When you say business world, are you talking about an entire umbrella, or are you speaking of a specific market? Because we're segmented in regards to our approach.
I'm talking about the entire market, especially from like a marketing and things like that. And let me kind of, because I know I sent you a curveball. Our families, go ahead.
No, I would say it's less of a curveball. I'm trying to narrow it down so that I can give you the most optimal answer, right? So that I don't run.
So I'm looking for a good, solid answer as to what your company is doing within the business community to help propel the other people's businesses to the next level. Does that help?
Yeah, so I would say because the cannabis business is our main focus right now, I'll go ahead and I'll focus on that. And so one of the biggest solutions that we're doing is we're trying to fill the gap, right, between the market side, so the buyer and the producer. And at the end of the day, what really drives sales within a company is understanding your consumers' needs and their behaviors. So we're taking our information and we're not just providing reports, but we're also providing projections and actions that can be taken in order to increase sales, in order to find curious buyers, in order to break into a new market that a grower and or seller didn't understand how to break into because they didn't have the right analytics and or data scientists involved to help them see the future of their company and how much they can grow. Because what you have is a lot of mom and pop shops that open up, they do good within their area. However, when it comes to branching out, they won't open a second, third, and fourth company. Well, or second, third, and fourth location, but it's unnecessary because if you have an online platform where exchanges can happen within a millisecond, then what you really need to learn how to do is A, discover what your market needs, right? Once you figure out what your market needs, find out what behaviors trigger their purchases and or inquiries. Once you figure that out, then you start setting up test environments that allow you to communicate with that consumer and learn from them. Once you learn from them, you can build out a strategy that doesn't just help you with marketing, but it helps with sales, and it helps with other strategic partnerships that you can build upon, right? And so what this boils down to is we're creating a community for these businesses where they don't just deal with the consumer, but they also deal with their peers.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to work in silos.
Yeah, exactly. Now, another something that I personally see, another aspect, if families are taken care of and able to realize the health and get away from addictions and whatnot, how do you think that's going to affect their ability to be able to perform and be able to succeed within business? To me, that's a no-brainer.
Well, the thing is if you think about it, a lot of these drugs affect your cognitive abilities. And if your cognitive abilities have gone to shit, excuse my French, there's really no way that you can grow. Now, there are some people who I would say are anomalies and they're functioning addicts who can do they can flip the world on its head on drugs, right? But there's a very limited amount of people that can actually achieve that. So here's what you get. If you get a series of people who then are cleared off of these drugs and can think clearly and can function and do jobs clearly, that actually allows you to build upon a marketplace, right? In regards to creating a new workforce that was otherwise unattainable because they were deemed unfit to work. And so if you think about a lot of these shops that not just sell but grow, they now can hire people who actually use the product, understand how important it is, live that lifestyle, and will actually treat it as if it's their own, rather than picking someone up who is just going to push things out just to get it done.
Right. So I know that you came to the call with a couple of items you wanted to be sure that were covered during the call. This would be a good time to bring one of those. Or, go ahead.
So essentially, I kind of touched base on them, but I'm just going to read off of the list. So at the moment, we're a few weeks away from launching one of our major machine learning tests. And our goal and what we're attempting to gain from this one test is to figure out on a I would say not necessarily in a controlled environment, but somewhat of a controlled environment on a large scale. What are the behaviors that trigger the consumers to do X? So what will trigger my consumer to go pick up CBD? What will trigger his consumer or her consumer to go get this version of marijuana versus that version of marijuana, so that we could actually start connecting both sides of the marketplace. So with that being said, I talked about filling in the gap, right? So we're looking to deliver new consumer markets, right, to an industry that essentially needs relevant and valuable customers that they don't currently have, right? Secondarily, we are a team that I would say consists of venture experience, ML experience, deep cannabis, and learning in regards to some of the people that we've been acquiring. rather than just having a founding team that are experts in XYZ, we're starting to look into our networks and bring people in who are smarter than we are, rather than wanting to be the smartest people in the room. And lastly, so what we're trying to do is we're attempting to serve a large addressable market and/or markets to naturally increase the cannabis use, right? Plus, we want to make sure that it's highly diverse, because if you think about it, the kid in Brooklyn that smokes XYZ because that's what's accessible to him is not going to have is not going to receive the same net effect of the kid in Oakland that has pretty much like an opportunity to smoke any and every strain that you can possibly think of. I'm getting tongue-tied right now. So our goal is to also decrease the amount of limitation that certain people have within the U.S. alone before we branch out. Obviously, we do have limitations because there are certain states that allow it and certain states that don't. So we're going to start working within the states that have actually made it legal before we can branch out. And so the best way for me to explain all the jargon that I just ran through is our goal and our staple that we wanna set, the stake that we want to put in the ground is we want to be the Apple of the cannabis industry.
Well, it's interesting you ended with that exact twist, because I was going to say, what is the main focus, main agenda, main drive of Herba Inc.? And I think that last statement said it well. I'd like you to go ahead and repeat that if you would.
Sure thing. I was saying that our main goal, the staple that we want to set, the stick that we want to put in the ground, is that we literally are the Apple of the cannabis industry.
Excellent, excellent. What do you see as one or two of your hurdles that you need to overcome in order to achieve that goal?
Well, I would say the biggest, anyone's hurdle in the marijuana industry in general is going to be pharma, specifically because they own a lot of the lobbyists. And so the people that write the rules and the regulations are going to be our biggest hurdle. Because of the team that we have and specifically the area that we're in, the people we've been talking to, the interests that have been pouring in, the financial aspect isn't the biggest issue. In most companies, it's usually getting funding, right? For us, it's figuring out, okay, well, if we go in this path, then what are the repercussions? However, if we work with XYZ as we build, does that make it for a softer touch point where they understand where we're going and they don't feel threatened? Or do we just take the Malcolm X approach and just go full steam ahead?
Gotcha. And, how would people go about connecting with you, with Herba Inc.? Now that they've heard the heart of your company, the heart of who you are, what's the next step?
I would say because right now we're in private beta testing mode, the best way to reach out to us you can reach out to me, Mac, M-A-C-K, at herba.io, or you can reach out to me again through info@herba.io. So that's info@herba.io.
Okay.
Eventually,
go ahead. Go ahead, and let me stop you there for just a minute. Go ahead and go over what you just went over, McKenzy, but let's take it down from Mach 10. Let's go through it a little bit slower.
Okay. So if you'd like to reach out to me, my email at our company is mac, M-A-C-K, @herba.io. So that's M-A-C-K @herba.io. You can also reach out to our customer service team by emailing info@herba.io. So that's info@herba.io. And to further exemplify what we're doing, we're currently in private beta mode. So technically we're stealth, but we're starting to talk about what we're doing a little bit. And eventually we will start capturing information from the public in regards to people that want to jump onto the beta testing phase. Look out for that. We'll definitely be updating our herba.io page soon, And so once that's up, you'll be able to jump in and supply your information and become part of the process.
What about connectivity via such platforms as Twitter or Facebook?
So on Twitter, our handle is Herba. Oh wow, why did I just went blank. Let me do that again. So on Twitter, we're at Herba. No, actually we're at Herba Inc. because we had an Herba Exchange. I'm sorry, I keep thinking Herba Exchange. So on Twitter, you can reach out. This is going to be edited, right?
Well, actually, it's live.
It's live. Okay. I'm having brain farts right now. Okay, so on Twitter, you can reach us at Herba Inc. On Instagram, you can reach us at Herba Exchange. And on Facebook, you can reach us at Herba Inc.
Okay. So, McKenzy, just to let you know on that last point as far as edited and whatnot, what I'm wanting to bring forward is real-life people talking about real-life stuff in real-life ways. So, you know, I don't think there will be an issue in that regard.
It's fine. So, we live and we learn, right? Now I know that before we talk again to have 2 cups of coffee instead of half a cup of coffee.
There you go.
Because then I won't crack your food.
There you go. So, is there anything else that you would want to bring to the call as it relates to talking about Herba Inc.?
I'll be honest, man. Like I think the biggest thing that touches home for me is that, you know, some people look at life as though there's 100 years there where you can do whatever you want. But then you have to realize that for a lot of us, because of the way we've treated nature and our environment and what's happening on a global scale, that 100 years goes by really fast. And for some of us, it may not even last 50. Some of us, it doesn't even last 10. And so if you think about it that way, we're literally born to die. So if we're born to die, why are we wasting our time accelerating our death?
Good point. Yeah, it hit home directly to me because my own wife, she went to sleep at age 39.
My condolences.
So, I mean, thank you for that. But you know, you're so right. You know, life is worth living well now. So then, is there anything else before we get into concluding remarks?
No, I would say that if anyone has questions, suggestions, remarks, just feel free to email me. I'm always available, and if I don't get back to you within 48 hours, I'll be sure to get back to you within the week.
Okay. This is Guy Severson of Viral Team. What I focus on is what we just went through, helping people just like McKenzy with Herba Inc. communicate their message forward. If you have a product or service that is of interest to the business community, I want to talk with you. You can get a hold of me directly on Twitter as Viral Team, Viral, V-I-R-A-L, TNT like dynamite, E-A-M. The views, thoughts, and comments expressed on this video is not necessarily the views of Viral Team, but it's simply me reaching out to help others. Now, with that said, McKenzy, just a closing word from you, and we'll be good.
I mean, I'll be honest. Live long and prosper.
There we go. There we go. Thank you so much, McKenzy, and you have an awesome day.
Likewise, brother. Have a good one, guys.
Hello, this is Guy Severson with Viral Team. Today I have on my line McKenzy Germain, and we are going to be talking about why video is so important to your marketing efforts. And with that, we're going to be looking at what the importance is and how you can take your own videos to the next level. Hello, McKenzy.
Hey, Guy, how's it going?
It's going very well. Thank you very much. So, we got into dialogue a little bit over Twitter, where I'm Viral TNT. And what's your handle on Twitter?
It's at McKenzy Germain.
At McKenzy Germain, absolutely. And that dialogue was revolving around video and its importance. I don't really think that there needs to be a case developed for the importance of video, but rather you made a statement that when you create a video, it increases the potential propagation by 50 to 100 different ways. I'd like you to expand on that a little bit, if you would.
Sure thing, Guy. So if you think about it, video at this moment in social media and marketing is probably the best outlet for spreading the word. There's obviously email marketing, there are articles and all sorts of other frameworks that people can take on. But at the end of the day, if you create a video that is not just thought-provoking, but comes across as something that will, I would say, it's not just thought-provoking, but comes across as something that converts consumers through testing. What you find is that like that main video, which is probably anywhere from like 120 to 200 seconds, can then be created into smaller portions, right? So you can create a 90-second, you can create a 30-second, you can create a 10-second, you can create a 5-second. All sorts of different variations of that video that still drive the main message and or a specific message to the point, right? And now if you take those different versions and those different segments of the video and you spread them across social media, there are multiple variances that you can create off of that. Now that's just at the video level. Now you take that same video and you convert it into what we call an article, right? So that video becomes an article. That article can go a la Medium. It can be placed on your company website. You can guest post on somebody else's site. But that article can be rewritten in multiple variations. So if there are specific sections of the video where you want to concentrate, you can segment it, break that out, sparse it, have a writer take that, run with it, and create different versions. Now, let's get back to the video.
Okay,
now from that video.
Can I stop you right there for a minute?
Sure.
I'd like to go back to that 30, 60, 90. You make it sound easy, but, when somebody's looking at a video, what's the process? Do you have a specific tool that you use for that?
You have to have a really good editor.
What's that?
You need a good editor.
Good editor, gotcha.
You need a good editor.
Exactly.
Yeah, that can pull it off. Or at least some form of basic editing skills to be able to pull that off. But I would say it's probably better for you to hire an editor. Even if it's just a student and you would pay someone internship rates, it would be better to have someone who understands at least film language. I've seen a lot of people in social media use the commercial language. Having a feature film background, I prefer not to use commercial language, and I prefer to use feature film language when editing. So what you find is that like if you use more long-term feature, you can actually dissect your video in more segments.
Okay, excellent. And then going beyond a video like you were, go ahead and go back to that if you would.
Oh, going beyond video and going into articles?
Okay, so you were talking about article. I know, like with YouTube, you have the ability to do I think it's what's the name? Not captioning. Okay, let me put it this way. I've got a YouTube video. How do I make that an article?
So what I would do is in YouTube you have the ability to transcribe the video, and so what this transcription does, what it'll do is word for word to the best of the AI's ability, it'll break down what you're saying in the video. If you're a good writer, I say take that transcription and put it in article form, right? Some people just will blatantly just copy it, paste it, and say that's the article. But it makes more sense to go in and add a little more flavor, so it doesn't feel like, okay, Guy said ... McKenzy said ... Now Guy says ... It doesn't sell the same point that you do in the actual video, because at that point it's I would say it's non-denominational, right? There's no emotion.
Right.
And so that's what you're using to capture your audience. So you have a writer not just take the transcription, but add emotion to it, make it more compelling, which is something you can do.
Make it come alive.
Yeah, make it come alive. Now, the cool thing about that transcription is you now have quotes. So those quotes now become social cards. And those are social cards that you can spread all across social media, right? Along with like your 15-second or your 10-second or your 30-second video. Depending on what performs best on X platform, you now have an unlimited number of assets that you can repurpose. Right? Now, podcasting is another aspect of it. If, say, like the interview we're having right now is great, the recording is great, your export is great, the sound quality is good, you may have an editor punch it up a little bit for you. You can then convert that and turn it into a podcast. And say if we're on this call,
just to make sure that we're on the same page and that people understand, because podcast is less used than video, at least in terminology. What's a podcast?
It's literally an audio interview. In layman's terms, it's an audio interview. So it's the conversation we're having right now without the video. Put on a track and you can play it on you can play their playback systems on websites. You can even download them and play them on QuickTime or Media Player, depending on what sort of OS you're on. I'm a Mac user, and I'm biased, so I'm always going to say QuickTime.
We're not going to get into the PC Mac conversation here, are we?
It's going to be an ongoing battle.
I tell you what. So, is there a particular podcast platform that you personally recommend?
Honestly, I use iTunes for most of my podcasting. There are several out there, but I have it on my laptop, I have it on my iPhone, and so as long as the podcast is on iTunes or Apple Music, I'm pretty much good to go. For me, it doesn't make sense to have 20 different apps that do the same thing. And so unless it's like a Gary Vaynerchuk interview that I can't get on Apple Music, which would be asinine if I can't, then I would go to another platform. But other than that, I'm pretty much loyal to iTunes.
Okay. So now we've got versions of video, we've got articles, we've got podcasting. Are you done?
You've got podcasting. You've also have social cards and quotes.
Okay, there you go.
So the thing is there are multiple variations of that. And so if you can, you can probably create more than 100 assets from that video. And at the same time, if you think about it, if there are segments of the video that play better in front of others, you can even remix the message that you're sending out and repurpose it.
Excellent.
I was going to also say you can create GIFs.
Well, you can create what?
You can create GIFs.
Oh yeah, GIFs. Yeah.
GIFs with text on it.
And just to make sure, what's a GIF?
It's a series of animated images.
Exactly.
And so it's literally a series of animated images in sequence. And so it's like if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, I can take snapshots of that and animate it to say maybe hold it 2 to 3 frames a second. I'm sorry, 2 to 3 frames, right? Within a 30-second window, or I can make it 50 seconds, but hold that image or frame. In film terms, it's frame for 2 seconds, and so that then creates an illusion of motion, right? So if I hold 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, you get a pretty steady motion. But if I go 2 second hold, 1 second hold, 2 second hold, 3 second hold, there's a variance in speed, which gives you the illusion of real human motion.
Reminds me of those flip charts that you used to use as you watch the little animated characters run through them.
I used to actually work on like the old 2D Disney desks at one point. That's how I learned to flip and animate.
Nice.
But that's a whole different career.
Yeah, I hear you. Now, one other thing that I would like to bring out, and something that a personal direction I'm taking with video is I look for key individuals, such as McKenzy, who I can dialogue with and have and create an interview that is, stellar, and then I share that link with them. Because I think this is yet another platform, because if somebody likes the video that they created and whatnot, and they get the link to it, what are they going to do?
They're going to share it.
No,
they're going to share it.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's all inbound marketing. And the more that you do it, in my opinion,
the more
that you are going to. Exactly.
The more impressions.
Exactly.
And I think what's really cool is that at one point, I've seen a few platforms start and shut down. I'll probably need to go check Product Hunt to see what's still live now. But there are a few products out there that actually allow you to pre-schedule some of these conferences where there can be 2 to 3 of us on there, and some of your users that are viewing can jump on and even ask live questions, so that it alleviates you from having to come up with like a short list. You can have a long list. You can have your short list and then open up the floor for them to then engage in the conversation.
I would need to look further into that. If you find other information on that, I'd be interested.
Yeah, definitely.
I have no problem dialoguing, just my own nature. It's like having a conversation and really listening to what somebody's saying so that you ask questions. Well, a lot of people will freeze up in this environment. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's why for me, I don't need personally.
Yeah.
I don't even have it. I have no notes. There's no notes needed because my notes come from what you say.
Yep. So I'm just to give a bit of breath around my personality type. I'm the guy that will walk into a room full of people, find the group of people that are most uncomfortable, zoom in on them, and then go over and start a conversation.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm that guy.
There you go.
Pretty much.
Got it. So is there anything else that you would add to this as it relates to video marketing?
I would say if you're going to take this video approach that we've been discussing and try to build a framework around it, you definitely need to learn how to put a content schedule together. Because if you can create, let's limit it to 50 assets based off of that one video. You have a solid content strategy. You have a solid content calendar. As soon as you record that one video and you launch that campaign, you can essentially continue to build on the back end and continue to launch as you go on until you get to the point where everything starts blending, not in the sense to where there's too much noise, but it all forms into this one congruent group of content that relates to you, the message you're trying to get across, and allows you to put enough impressions out there to steal attention, because that is the true nature of the game.
There you go.
Every company is a marketing-first company, no matter what.
Every company is what?
Marketing first, sales second.
Marketing. If people could catch that, every company is a marketing first, sales second. How are you going to sell anything if you haven't learned to market your message?
Agreed.
McKenzy, thank you for your time. My name is Guy. I'm just getting over a cold. My bad on that. But my name is Guy Severson of Viral TNT. Find me best on Twitter. And the views, thoughts, opinions shared on this video is not necessarily the property of Viral TNT, though I'd have to say I agree with a lot of them. There's some birds in the background there. Is there some birds in the background?
Yeah, my neighbors have this pretty eclectic group of animals in their backyards that stem from birds to dogs to hens. I've even seen goats. It's pretty awesome.
That sounds fun. But if you have a video that you would like to share as it relates to helping business people, whether it's a product or service, or sharing your thoughts and views about a particular topic, please contact me and let me know. I'd be glad to interview you just like I have McKenzy today. McKenzy, thank you for your time and attention in this call. Is there any closing thoughts you'd like to share?
Well, let's go for a shameless plug. So my name is McKenzy Germain. A lot of people in the industry that I'm upcoming in know me as the Pragmatic Disruptor, aka Ocean Somni. You can find me. You can find me on Twitter at McKenzy Germain. You can find me on Instagram as the Real Pragmatic Disruptor. You can find me on Facebook at MacG.tv. And essentially, you can find me on YouTube as the Pragmatic Disruptor as well.
Okay. Because McKenzy Germain has some twists and turns, can you spell out your name so that if people are looking, they can find you?
The correct way. So it's McKenzy. Last name is Germain. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me an ad. I am not shy. I will accept you. And if you engage in conversation, I do respond.
That's the part of social media. Without that, you don't have anything.
Agreed.
Definitely. Thank you for your time. And McKenzy, have an awesome day.
Likewise, brother. Have a good one, guy. Peace.
All right, take care. Take care.